once again, and it's morning here. It's bright and sunny, and I decided I'm gonna make some biscoitos. I'm gonna go to my grandkids in a couple weeks, and I want to take some biscoitos, so I decided to make it. This is a different recipe than the one I've made it before. This was a recipe, I got it from one of my cousins back east. His name is Joe Swash. This is your recipe, Joe. I've been wanting this recipe because I've tried variety of them and it's not the one that I remembered. So I'm gonna try this one that my cousin Joe sent it. He put it actually on Facebook and I asked the recipe and he sent it to me. So anyway, so this kind of biscuit you make them, and then after you put them a coat of sugar. You make this sugar with water, and then you coat the biscuits, and they all become like white in the outside. So I'm gonna try it. So anyway, in here I have 5 pounds of flour. I have 4 cubes of butter. I know the recipe that Joe has, he asks for 450 grams, but I'm going to use all of these, can't hurt anyway. 4 cups of milk. I have 3 tablespoons of yeast, and then I have 2 tablespoons of salt. He says salt more or less, but I think 2 tablespoons will be enough for the salt. So anyway, I'm going to start by putting my milk in this pot and warm it up with the butter. And this is pretty much it for what you need for the biscuits. Then you'll have the calda, then we'll have some sugar. This doesn't have no sugar in the biscuit. So I got a biscuit, these kind of biscuits, years ago from one of my husband's aunts. She came and visited us and she brought these biscuits. Oh my gosh, I never forgot about those biscuits. So ever since then, she's passed away, so nobody has idea what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna put this melting. I'm going to start by doing my yeast. So I have 1 teaspoon of sugar. I'm going to add my 3 tablespoons of yeast. And I have here 1 cup of warm water. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. And I'm going to mix this and let the yeast start working when I'm still warming up my my milk with the butter. Okay. My yeast is growing and my milk and my butter is melted. I'm gonna add the salt to my dough, to the flour, and I'm gonna make a hole in the middle and put everything in there. I'm going to put my yeast. And it's warm in here already, so it comes real fast, the yeast. And now I'm going to put my milk. And now all you do is kind of just mix everything until all that flour is incorporated into this. So we're just gonna mix all this, and this will be not like bread, it won't be soft. So just keep working that dough and mixing that flour. Yeah, I was so excited when I got this recipe because I've looked at the other recipes that I've had before and it does not, they add eggs and stuff, and I don't remember the ones I tried for my husband's aunt had any eggs. It didn't have no sweetness inside. And they were very crispy. They were delicious. So, I'm gonna keep mixing all this until all that flour is incorporated. And this is gonna stay here until it doubles in size. And then once it doubles in size, then we start shaping the biscoitos. So, anyway, I'll continue doing this and then I'll come back. I had another cube of soft butter. It feels too hard for me. I don't know how they're supposed to feel, but I'm thinking if I'm gonna roll this, they're too hard. And I might add a little bit of milk. And I'm saying this because, of course, the flours, the temperature, back east is a lot more wet, humid, so might be a difference. This is too hard for me, so I'm gonna add a little bit more milk. And then I'll give you the right amount. Okay friends, I add another cup and a half of milk, and it gets to show you that, you know, you gotta know how your dough's supposed to look like. It was too hard for me. It's still not really soft, but maybe as it rises, the elasticity of the gluten will stretch. I get my hands wet so it doesn't stick. And you always hear me that the bowl needs to kind of stay clear, and that's what I'm looking for that bowl to be clean. And I'm just doing the flips, and I get my hands wet and then stretch the dough. So I think I'm there. I'm just gonna let this sit here until it doubles in size, and then we'll start shaping the biscuits, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was too hard. Like I said, you gotta know your dough. So, okay, it's gonna stay here. I'm gonna cover with a towel, and then we'll wait until it doubles in size. Okay, and here it is, the biscuits. Friends, it's been 5 hours, and here is my dough. I'm gonna cut it right now and start shaping my biscuits. It has rised real good. I don't want these biscuits too big, so they're gonna be a little small. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut them into more or less the length, so about 1/2 inch, and the thickness that I want. And this is up to you, whatever size you want to make. I know the ones that I'm thinking, they're not very big. So you cut them, and then you let them sit. Okay, and then you shape them. I have my cookie sheets ready to go. I had enough time for me to go get a haircut, do some errands. I'm gonna start making them. And like I said, I don't want them too big. These usually are not that big. There's people that make them bigger. I want them small. And this dough is perfect consistency. And I'm gonna put my oven going. I'm gonna put it at 400. And this is because I know my oven is not regulated right. So, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna shape this. This will take me no time because this dough is soft. It had plenty of time to rise. So, and you can put them close because these not going to grow very much. So, anyway, I'm going to sit here and do this, and I'll show you when they're done. My last biscoitos took me 45 minutes. It goes real fast because they're really soft. And this is what I mean. You gotta know what the dough's supposed to look like in order to do certain things. It could be bread, it could be whatever. If I had sticked with just that milk, it would have been too hard for me to roll. But because I add a little bit more milk, it is just right. This one is a little bit harder than the consistency for bread. That's what you need. And it rolls really good. So, I'm just gonna continue baking them. Okay, friends. I finished, I'm still baking some of the biscoitos, but here's some of them, and look how beautiful they look, and they still need to be crunchier. They're good just like this. Actually like this with some St. George cheese, perfect. But we're not done. I'm gonna make this syrup that I'm gonna mix it here. Half a cup of water and 3 cups of sugar. My cousin's recipe was 2 cups of sugar and 1 1/4 of water. But I'm increasing because I want extra the syrup. So now I'm gonna bring this to a boil, and it's gonna be so I'm gonna do now this syrup to put over the biscoitos, and I want a soft crack. So I'm gonna put this, my thermometer, and I'm gonna make sure that it reached to that stage. So I'm just gonna baby this, and when it's done, I'll come back and show you. Okay, friends, here it is, my last batch of the biscoitos. I had these drying a little bit. Now I'm making the sauce to go over. And here's my first batch. These are the ones for my first batch. They're already drying. I already give some away. So I think this is it. Now I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pour this slowly over all these biscuits. And you wanna make sure you cover them, all of them, with this sugar. And be very careful, this sugar is very hot. And as it cools, that crystallizes the biscuit. So now you need a wooden spoon, and you need to mix the biscuit. Woo. And make sure that I like to use the spatula because it takes all the sugar from the bottom. But be very careful because this is very hot. Let them sit here and they're gonna dry. And then okay friend, here it is, all my biscuits. I already give some away. But these were the first batch and they're already start getting all white, and these are the last ones, and they are so delicious. They're crunchy, but are not very sweet. There's no sugar inside, and they're not covered with sugar. Some people just dunk them into sugar, and I prefer like this. These are so good. That went my diet today. This with a cup of tea in the afternoon. This is what I remember. Thank you to my cousin Joe Swatch for giving me this recipe. This is delicious. I remember this recipe from my husband's aunt that brought it to our house. So I hope you give it a try. This is an easy recipe. It was very easy to make, and in no time you can do quite a bit. And now I'm gonna let this dry. Maybe tomorrow I'll put everything in a containers, and then when I go to see my granddaughters in 2 weeks, I'll take them some. They're gonna love this. So anyway, give it a try, this recipe, and until next time, let's get cooking. Have a good day.